We have opened the gates of McLaren once again, and today we are doing the battle of the GTRs. Old versus new, and of course we're talking about the McLaren F1 GTR versus the McLaren P1 GTR. We're at Silverstone circuit. We're using the full Grand Prix layout. It's 23 degrees and optimal conditions. I had to relearn this track a little bit because it's been about several years since I've driven it, as I personally still like the late 90s, early 2000s older layout better than this one. But nevertheless, first car we're going to test out is the McLaren F1 GTR, and the first thing that I would say about is I think this is one of the last true driver's cars in premier road racing. It has a manual H-pattern shifter, there's no ABS, there's no traction control. It's very raw. I mean, even if you fast forward to 1998 with the Porsche GT1, it has a sequential shifter, so I mean it's already moved forward into taking away some of the purity of it, which isn't a bad thing, but I mean, it definitely gives you a lot of involvement with this car, which is cool. Being just 595 horsepower, it's definitely not a huge powerhouse, but it is only just 1,000 kilograms, so this thing will definitely move on the straights. It's very nimble. It's good through the corners. I think the brakes are a little bit... You notice its age with the brakes. They're not as good as today's cars, that's for sure. Being a full-on race car, there's a lot of setup adjustments you can make, so you can really fine-tune the car to the track. Now, I definitely didn't do any kind of perfect setup, but I did make some adjustments, and it definitely made a noticeable difference in my lap times, as well with just how the car felt. Well, how fast it is? Well, of course, we're going to need some kind of comparison car. So the first car I wanted to throw in here was the McLaren P1 road car. We threw on the Trofeo tires, 25 liters in the tank, and we let her go for a rip. Now, the first laps that I did with the P1 were not using the battery, just the DRS, and I did a 209, 219. But the lap you're about to see is with DRS and using the ERS manually, so we can get a full comparison of what the car truly can do. And then as for the McLaren, the next lap you'll see is with, of course, the usual medium tires, 25 liters in a tank. And let's see how fast it goes. Now we have the McLaren P1 GTR, and I have to think about the advancements that McLaren has made in 20 years in aerodynamics, tires, engine, brakes, which are far superior, drag reduction systems, the energy recovery system. We have 7-speed semi-automatic gearboxes. Not to mention, this car has nearly 1,000 horsepower, which is almost 400 horsepower more than the F1 GTR. So there's a whole lot of advancements on this car that the F1 GTR didn't have. So one would assume that this car is just going to be demolishing in lap time compared to the other. But at the end of the day, this is not a sanctioned race car. It's kind of a arrive and drive track car. There's a setup already built into it. Your downforce is your downforce. Your springs are your springs. In fact, I found the springs were incredibly stiffly sprung. I wish I could make a few changes just to soften it up a little bit. I did notice that the tires are very temperature sensitive. So I'm running the medium tire, and I found it took a couple laps for it to get up to the optimal temperature. But then once pushed, it was easy to go outside the temperature. I was overheating the front left tire within a couple laps. So the window to get a good lap in was quite small on this car, and it definitely isn't that great for hot lapping in my opinion. Now I did make some setup changes in terms of the alignment and the tire pressures, but I didn't find a whole lot of difference in how it felt, and I definitely didn't see a whole lot of difference in the lap time. Maybe there's more there, but I might have to experiment a little bit more at another time. But anyways, how fast is it? Of course, we're all expecting this car to be a lot faster, but is it? Is it faster at all? Let's find out.